Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video here at MT Paradise. So, today's video I'm actually going to be showing you how to do an oil change on a 2014 Volkswagen Jetta. And this is just like the 2.0, not turbo, just normally NA. If you guys have the 2.0 turbo, I'm pretty sure a lot of the stuff is the same. Some stuff is different, but like the location of the oil drain plug should be about the same spot. Like I said, this is just for like the normal like 2.0 naturally aspirated. Alright, so if your engine looks like this, hopefully a lot cleaner, this is pretty dirty because pretty much like the plate on the bottom is not there, so all the dirt kicks up. But if your engine looks like this, then this is a good video for you. And already I have some of the stuff laid out that I'm going to need. So obviously the oil catch pan. Alright, so then the instruction manual says 5W30, so I went ahead and went with the high mileage since it does have over 75,000 miles on it. It actually has about like 90 on it. I went with a K&N oil filter since it's highly trusted and highly recommended, and this is what I use for all my cars. So definitely for the Jetta, it's the HP 2005. And then a little crush washer for the oil drain plug once I pull that off. So once you pull like the drain plug out, you need to replace the washer on it. These are super cheap on Amazon, and each one of these like little washers is about like $1. So you can get them in like a 10 pack on Amazon for like 10 bucks. But every time you do an oil change, this needs to be replaced. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and jack up the front of the car. And in the front, what you'll see is, so essentially like right here, like there's this plate. You want to have the jack stand kind of like on the, or you want to have the jack kind of like on the back part of this. When you raise it up, you can put the jack stand on the front part. So, like I said, jack it from here and put the jack stand right here. So you're going to do that on both sides and make sure that it's nice and solid. But before you do that, in front of the back tires, you can see I have rubber chocks. I have the e-brake pulled in addition to a rubber chock. Can't see that one. But I will never raise up a car without putting chocks in front of the tires because you never know if the car is going to shift, and you don't want that to happen, especially if you're underneath it. Alright, so now that we got the jack stand on, we're just going to go ahead and go over to the other side and do the exact same thing. Alright guys, so I got the car all jacked up, put on a couple jack stands right there, and ignore that little piece. This is a piece of plastic hanging down from the skid plate that should have been underneath the front end, but so just ignore that. But the car's all jacked up, ready to go. I also suggest you have a light. In addition to a light, a oil spill mat. Alright, so I pretty much got everything set up underneath the car. Got the 5/16 Allen wrench out for the drain plug, light set up and everything. But before I can do anything else, I have to come up here and pretty much pull out the dipstick. So pulling this out will actually allow the air to flow in, allowing the oil to flow out a lot smoother from the bottom. You see how thick and dark that is. So the oil, whenever you put it in, will be nice and light. And then over here on the top, you can actually see like the little oil thing. I'm just going to take the oil cap off. So then that'll also allow significant amount of airflow into the oil tank, and then allow the oil from the bottom just to flow right out nice and smooth and easy. And according to this, they recommend Castrol, but for a lot of Audis and Porsches, they use Mobil 1, so I'm just going to go ahead and use Mobil 1. But I think that itself is not the huge issue. It's the weight of the oil. So like the 5W30, like that's like the big part that you really need to make sure you get right. Alright guys, so now that I'm under the car, I'm just going to go ahead and unscrew the drain plug in the back here. So once you do that, just expect the oil will flow out like crazy. So definitely have your catch pan ready. Also have either like a oil drip sheet or just like a rag or something just to clean up oil, because you don't want this stuff to get all over the place. Sometimes you need a rubber mallet just to break the seal, because these things are on here tight. Alright, so it looks like it's hand tight now. Yep. There we go. Alright, so I got the drain plug. Pretty much I got these old shop rags, so getting the drain plug cleaned up. Also a little bit of oil on the floor. Let me go ahead and wipe that up while I'm here, because you don't want that to... Oil's not going to dry on the floor, but you just don't want it on the floor. So then what we're going to do is we're just going to sit and let that run out. Alright, so while the oil just still drips, I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys where the oil filter is, which is right here. So there's the oil dripping, and the oil filter is that blue thing right there. So once I unscrew that, they can screw on the new one. Alright, so that didn't really go according to plan. I got oil all over the place. But yeah, I got the oil filter out. I turned it kind of downside so that all the oil could drain out of it into the catch pan. But as you see, there's still oil dripping from where it screws onto. So I'm just going to let that continue to drip. And then once it's done dripping, then I'll just go ahead and screw the new one on and get everything all cleaned up. Alright, so something I want to show you real quick with the old drain plug is it had an Allen wrench spot, which is pretty beat up. Like that might have been from me, not too sure. But the metal washer, see how it has like that lip that kind of sticks up around the edge? That used to be all flush, but just because of the forces that are exerted on it, it presses it up against the drain plug and it crushes it a little bit. If you don't replace this piece, it'll actually be compromised. So if you notice that there's a little bit of oil around the drain plug on the oil pan, like prior to me actually taking this off, that's probably because the last place that did an oil change did not take that washer off. So I'm just going to go ahead and replace that as well. So I actually picked this up on Amazon for about 10 bucks. It has it's like a giant nut on the end, so I'm able to use a 19 millimeter socket, and pretty much this is what I'm going to use to unscrew it and screw it from in the future. Also, the washer right here, this one's brand new, so I'm going to be able to have the nice brand new washer on there, and then I have that little 10 pack, which is like a little baggie with them. So if I need any more in the future, I'll just pull this little silver one off and then swap it out with one of the new ones. And then you can kind of see like the edges, how there's like little notches. There's like a big tool that's required to unscrew and screw that thing back in. So for the new K&N oil filter, you can see that there's this like almost like a giant nut shape on the top there. So I'm able to use that to just clamp right on there. So once it's screwed in, I'm able to screw it in nice and easy, and I don't have to do everything by hand. So K&N is also going to be really awesome for that purpose. It's going to be easier to work with, and they are highly recommended. And like I said, I use K&N on all my other stuff, and especially in my Porsche. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and screw in the drain plug, since it's pretty much just down to like a little bit of a drip. You're probably not going to be able to get exactly all of it out, so I think it's at a good rate right now. Alright, so now I got the drain plug in. That was actually significantly easier doing it with that big socket versus the little Allen wrench here. Alright, so now I'm just going to go ahead and put on the oil filter. Alright, so something you want to do prior to actually putting the oil filter on is you want to actually pour a little bit of oil inside of it first, and then you're going to screw it on. So I've already gone ahead and put oil inside of this, and I'm just going to go ahead and screw it onto the spot, and then I'm going to just kind of clean up all the oil that's dripped. So when it comes to putting oil in the car, the recommended amount is about 3.8. That's quarts. So whenever you look on the back, you can actually see that there's like the little notches that tell you exactly how many is left, and you kind of see exactly. So a lot of people spend a ton of money on those little 1 quart bottles, and they're like half the price as like a 5 quart bottle. So you might as well just go ahead and go all out and get the huge jug. And then what you want to do is actually clean off the dipstick. And you can kind of see like the little line right here that you want to get right in the middle of. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick this down in there. And just make sure that this is like the right amount of oil. Now it's in. Let me pull it back out. And the oil is about a little bit more than half on that. So that is actually a good amount of oil. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this back in. Pull my funnel out, and I'm just going to go ahead and put the oil cap right back on. And just like that, the oil change is done. Alright guys, so now that the oil change is done, I'm just going to go ahead and clean up all this kind of stuff. I'm going to drop the car down off the jacks, and I'm just going to go drive it kind of like just out and about in the neighborhood, just kind of around the block, just to make sure that everything's good to go. I'm going to bring it back in the garage, check for any leaks, and if everything's good to go, then the car's done. Alright, so there's nothing better than driving a car immediately after an oil change. And the car feels amazing. So I'm going to take it out on this main road where I can get it up to speed a little bit, just to kind of make sure everything is running fine. Everything's doing great. It sounds fine. Nothing sounds bad whatsoever. So everything feels so nice and smooth. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take the car back to the house, and I'm just gonna go ahead and check in the garage and just see if there's any kind of leaks of any kind. And if there's no leaks, everything's good to go. But if you guys like this video, definitely go down and hit that like button down below. If it helped you with your car, definitely let me know in the comments. And if you guys have any questions or concerns, definitely put it in the comments as well. I read and reply to everyone. But as always, thank you for watching.